Working with props that are permanently attached to a character needs to be part of your original types of outlines for how the gameplay is going to take place. When you bring in a character, if there's a prop attached, it's going to be there for the entire game. Unlike prop switching, where you can create prefabs and then swap them out with the script, when you export something out of Poser that has a prop, it's there for the count. Something else to consider is that if you want to use any other types of pre-made animations with your character, they need to be posed in the T position so you can go ahead and get those matched up successfully in Unity. If, however, you've got like a big gun right here and you don't want to change the size of it, you want the character to use both hands, a T pose is out of the question. The first single frame animation that you'll export out of Poser into Unity, to which you could import other animations, is going to have the character using both hands on the gun in front of him. So these are design things that you need to address on your end. In this movie, we'll go ahead and take a look at attaching a permanent prop to a character that we could then use in a T pose and get the benefits out of that. There's also a couple ways that we can go ahead and play around with this a little bit. And by play around, I mean actually swap a body part for a prop. Now I have left gun and I have just clicked it. It's in the stock area right here. And one of those infamous BAGs that any kind of game player is familiar with. What I want to do is actually scale it and attach it to the character's hands. Currently, since it's been brought in and was not designed for this character, it is parented to the universe, and that's just fine for us right now. We'll change the parenting in a little bit. So to get this onto the character, and we can see Andy's not in a T pose, I'm going to come up to figure, zero figure out. This also removes the morphs that are on the character. So if you want the morphs part of the T-pose, those need to be introduced back into it using the morph dials. So with the gun selected right here, let's go ahead and get this thing rotated into place. I'll go ahead and rotate this about 180 degrees. I'll enter the values, be a little bit faster that way. Go ahead and translate this. Get it close, bring it up on the y-axis a little bit. And then let's go ahead and rotate this a little. And much too large. If he's not going to be holding it with two hands, that is. Now the X translate, I'll go ahead and push this out a little bit. And right now the hand isn't really grabbing that. So I'm going to lower this down, select the hand, use the kind of vector-based grasp function. So if I move this gun down just a little bit further, there's no specific handle on this. So we'll kind of fake it this way. On the Z-trans, whoops, I grabbed a finger instead of the character. All right, Z-trans here. And I see that finger sticking up there. Let me undo that. There, now with the gun selected, I'll bring it down. Perfect. And forward just a little bit, and actually up. So how do we get this connected to our character here? If you've never worked with props before that aren't designed for a character, you need to go ahead and set the parent for that. So we'll come up to Object, Change Parent. Currently, it tells us the prop, the T68 gun, is a parent of the universe. We'll find right collar, come down to right shoulder, and ultimately right hand here. I'll select this, and I'm not going to engage inherit bends of parent. What that would mean that as the hand bends, the gun would actually flex, not bend, but flex to match the bend of the hand. Don't want that. Want it to not have that because it's a hard item, and choose OK. With that completed, the prop has now been attached to the character. So if I grab Andy's arm here at all, and we do back and forth, there it is. So from the T figure here, we could go ahead and export Andy. This prop would come with it. If we wanted any types of morphs to be on the character, we would reintroduce those facial morphs back in here, or any custom morphs we made, and then bake those into the pose. Another option we do have is that if I say, okay, let's go back to Object, and let's go ahead and change the parent. Actually, I need to select the gun. So we'll come down to Props, T68 gun, Object, Change Parent. I'll say Universe. And the reason I'm doing this is to deselect it so I can give you another option to work with right here. We'll zoom in just a little bit on our character. Let me move that. We'll reposition this gun just slightly. And I'll move it on the X-axis. Not the rotate, let's translate X. Up on the Y just a little bit. Now the hand is pretty well obscured, but not completely. What we're going to do is deselect this, and we'll actually just select Andy's right hand. With that selected, we can see it in there. If I rotate around a little bit, we've got fingers coming out. So what we'll do is go Object, Replace Body Part with Prop. Since we have the hand selected, what do we want to replace it with? We'll choose the T68 gun, go OK. We get a warning here. I'm not going to change that at all. And now the hand has actually been replaced. It's disappeared and only the gun is in its place. Pretty nice little trick. Then we simply export it with the usual functions into Unity and you have a permanently attached prop to your character.